Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. So today is a video that I've been wanting to do for a few months ever since I got back from New Zealand and Australia, and that is sharing my experience traveling throughout the different airports, you know, living with cerebral palsy and my other disabilities, what accommodations I got, and just like how I navigate that whole process, because it can be stressful, especially it can be stressful for anyone, but especially when you have disabilities. So I went on 9 airplanes throughout the whole trip. That's a lot for one trip, one vacation. I have to say that 7 of them were great experiences. 2 of them were bad experiences, which honestly, to go on 9 airplanes and 7 of them are good. I feel like that, like, I can't be mad at that, but also the 2 experiences that were not good, they were really not good, and I will say why in this video, but it is definitely gonna be a long video. Definitely grab a snack or a drink and let's get started. So the first airport was the Boston one. One thing that we did, which is so helpful, and definitely do this if you know you're gonna be traveling, is to call to see what they have is the biggest tip, because what we found out is Boston Airport, they have this service, this assistance that you can get if you have a disability or if you have medical conditions. And I actually still have the card. It's right here. It's like falling apart. I kind of like crushed it a little bit. But I share this, I think I share a little bit of this in one of my vlogs. Basically, it gives you assistance for airport security, which is amazing, and that was one of the things I was most worried about, was airport security, because I know it can be very stressful and I know they rush you a lot of the time. So that was like one thing I was trying to avoid, and it would be great to have assistance with. So finding out about this was amazing. Basically what happens was I got a person assigned to me to help me, and he got in contact with us, and then he met us, when I say us, my family and I, outside of the airport, and he helped us. He, you know, carried some of our luggages, and then he brought us through security, and we didn't have to wait in a long line, and we didn't have to be rushed. Even though I feel like it did get slightly like a little more stressful every flight, to start off a good note was good. So going through security was not rushed at all, and that's what I needed. I needed, you know, to be able to take my time and not feel like they're rushing me and they're not understanding, you know, that I have disabilities. So it was just so amazing. So definitely look into this if you are traveling, especially if you're going to the Boston Airport or any airport. See if they have this. This was a lifesaver. Enemy coming in, so I realized I can't even tell you what the service is called. It's called TSA Cares, and I will link their website below in the contact form, because they actually have a whole place where you can contact if you know you're gonna be traveling soon. It says, I have it on my computer right here. It says if your flight is within 72 hours, please call TSA Cares request assistance. So I will link that in the description box. I think it was so helpful. As I said, it was extremely helpful, and they have a bunch of airports in the United States, and they actually do have San Francisco. I'm going to be talking about San Francisco Airport more later on in this video. I did not get this at that airport, and I will explain more later on, but yeah, I'm still kind of confused about that, but at least I got in the Boston Airport, and I think it's so worth it. So definitely look in the description box if you are flying soon or you think you'll be interested in it. I would definitely recommend. And then I did get the pre-board. So for this flight, I pre-boarded. I think my mom only pre-boarded with me. Pre-boarding, I definitely needed. One, because if I'm bringing anything on the plane, it gets like, especially like if I'm bringing my suitcase, like first of all, I would never be able to put my suitcase up top, so I would need like my mom help me with that. But let's say if I was alone going on an airplane, which I am not ready to go alone on an airplane anytime soon, but let's say that I would definitely need help from one of the airplane staff. They were very nice, like all throughout all the airplanes. I will say they were so nice. They came up and asked if I needed help, so that was wonderful. And there are definitely things looking back, I guess, like remembering, if I were alone, then I probably would need help, and I'll get more into that later. But anyway, there was one experience, the first experience, where getting my suitcase even on the plane, like there's a little like lift, was challenging. And actually there was this nice man who helped me with it. Was so nice because my mom was in front of me, so he helped me like lift it up, because even that was hard. I'm glad I had a great, like amazing first experience. Since before this, the last time I've been on an airplane was 18 years ago. So another thing I was definitely looking for and wanting was the hidden disability landlord, which looks like this, and I got this in New Zealand. So I didn't find anywhere like I could get it in the United States. Like there was nothing on like the Boston airport or anywhere like that. Knowing what I went through on my very last airport experience, I know they are throughout the United States as well, but I just have a feeling that people are so longing about it and getting familiar with it, because yeah, I just had an experience where they clearly did not know about this, and they should have. But anyway, I got this in New Zealand because New Zealand, their airline, their airport, they definitely know about this. They're very sunflower knowledgeable, I guess you would say. They know this very well. So let me say, so overall, like I still feel like not enough people know about this. Like I guess especially in the United States. I don't know. I feel like I don't have enough experience with flying to really say that, but just from my one experience coming back, it was just not good. But anyway, so you can either get like a card. I actually have a card in the landlord, but it says there's a place to put your name, family, contact, family number, and then any assistance needs. So I don't have it filled out. I actually got another one because mine like fell apart. But overall, I would say this was helpful. For those who don't know about the hidden disability sunflower, it is a way to tell people that you have a disability that, you know, is not visible. And for me, I do have epilepsy and I am visually impaired, so those are like my two, I would say, main invisible disabilities that you can't see. But actually, I would claim that my cerebral palsy is somewhat hidden as well. And I think that is clear with the bad experience I had at San Francisco Airport coming back from New Zealand, where they clearly couldn't tell I had cerebral palsy, which is my most like visible disability. That was extremely frustrating. So the purpose is you wear this and people will know that you will need more help, you will need more assistance or more time, or they'll, you know, come up to you and ask you that without you having to advocate for yourself so much. They will be able to tell, and that is amazing. I will say that I feel like, so how do I say this? This definitely helped. However, I think I'm expecting it to help more. I will say we did have a few early flights, and that's when it was actually the easiest for me, and it was the least stressful. Well, I hate waking up early. I would choose an early flight in a heartbeat next time, because one, it's not crowded, and two, the airport staff, the people working on the airport, they can tell, like they're able to see, you know, the fact that I'm wearing a landlord more easily because it's not crowded. And that's what happened a couple times in New Zealand, is one of the staffs came up to us and was like, oh, you want me to take you through security? And that was amazing, and that's what I need. That is like one of the biggest things that I need, is to have someone to take me through and not be in this, not like it's not about like waiting in line, it's just being rushed. The one in Australia, so this was leaving Australia to go back to New Zealand. So let me actually just take you through this experience. Let's go for it. So we went to the accessibility desk, that help desk. I would definitely recommend that as well, especially if it's crowded. I wouldn't just rely on the fact that you are wearing this and, you know, try to get someone attention. I would not do that. Definitely go to a help desk and tell them like what you need. They'll be able to see you have this, and hopefully they'll be educated on it, but I can't promise you that. But once you do that, they'll be able to tell you where to go next. And what they said to me was, oh, go downstairs, there's a specific line for people who need more assistance. So we went down, we saw that line, which is amazing that they have it. However, we quickly realized, or I did, that it wasn't just for people who need extra assistance. They were literally just sending everyone there. In a perfect world, that line would just be for people who need more assistance, but yeah, this airport, they were just using it for everyone, and that was stressing me out so much. And then once we went through it, I just felt so rushed. Like, I can't even describe you. Like, I was on the verge of like crying. I could tell they couldn't care less, like, honestly. And it was just so stressful. We were told after, or maybe we were told before, I don't know, but this airport, it was Brisbane Airport, they are very strict. So they go through literally everything. And I know security is so important, but it was just like, they were stressing me out so much. They went through my whole bag because they picked my bag, and that just made me more stressed out. And then they just gave me my bag with a bunch of stuff that I had to put back, and I'm just like, oh my goodness. And I just felt so rushed. Like, I understand they do this and this is so important, but I just wish that if they had this line that was meant for people who need more assistance, the people working there would also be understanding and not rush me. But I don't know, maybe I'm just like, I have too much high expectations. But after that experience, I guess it made me not want to go back to Australia. It sounds so dramatic, but oh my goodness. Like, looking back, I am glad that I have had a few months to really like process it. But in the moment, I was just on the verge of crying, because I guess it was like everything like I dreaded that I thought would maybe happen in my in the Boston airport, my first time going to an airport in 18 years. Like, this happened in Australia. You know, I was wearing this, but they saw were rushing me, and yeah, it was not a good experience. Not at all. I would say in terms of pre-boarding, I got to pre-board every time, which was amazing. Actually, but once, and I still don't like understand why, like, I didn't get the pre-board. Like, we didn't hear them call pre-board, but that's usually what happens when they do pre-board, is they will like have a message on the like screen, like when boarding starts, and also like when pre-boarding starts, and then they will say it out loud. But for some reason they didn't say it at this specific airport, and then I had to board at the same time as everyone, and that was a little stressful, I will say. But what made it not as stressful is I didn't have my suitcase. We checked that at that time because my suitcase was getting too heavy. I wonder why. You probably can guess why. But every other time I did get the pre-board, especially like after experiencing that, I made sure to go to the guests and tell them like I need to pre-board, and then they told me where to wait, because there was also like sometimes I don't think like every time, but some of the airports there was like a separate section you sat if you need to pre-board, like in the front. But yeah, maybe that was every time, I don't know. Yeah, pre-boarding was so important to me, even though like being on an airplane, like maybe you don't want to go that early, but for me it's so important, especially getting on my seatbelt and all of that. I will say in terms of the airplanes, not every airplane I went to had a accessible bathroom, and I don't need a accessible bathroom necessarily, but this also maybe TMI a little bit, but when I get anxiety, like I can't go to the bathroom, and I was on a like 12-hour flight from San Francisco to New Zealand, and I didn't go to the bathroom. That one did have accessible bathroom, and I tried to, but I couldn't. And like getting up from the airplane, like you have to be careful. They do have the seatbelt sign, and they will put that on sometimes if they have turbulence, but even when they don't, like I don't have great balance, so I do need most likely someone to like help me get there. So yeah, it was just like getting me so much anxiety, so I just like forced myself to just like stay in my seat, which is not good. It's especially good for me to get up so I can like walk around, but yeah, don't take my advice on that, okay? Side note, in terms of the turbulence, the first airplane to get to San Francisco, it was a rainy, it actually snowed, I believe. Yes, there was snow on the ground when I woke up, and it was like raining throughout the whole day. The takeoff was so rough. It was so rough. I will never forget that. I was like, oh my goodness, it felt like a roller coaster, like going up and down. I don't mind the bumps, but when you're feeling like you're going up and then down, up and down, like a roller coaster, like no. And that happened the first flight. I was like, okay, welcome to flying on an airplane. This is what can happen. I definitely got used to it. It happened a few other times on different airplanes, but overall, like, I don't know, maybe it's been a few months, so I kind of like my mind has, you know, kind of slightly like forgot about it, but like how I think about it is thinking of being there is so worth it. So like you just have to get through the experience of flying, and you'll be fine. Now I think I'm ready to share my experience, my awful experience at the San Francisco airport coming back from New Zealand. I would say this was worse than the Australia one. Like, it was worse in a different way, because my Australia airport experience in Brisbane was worse because they were just like rushing me, and the line like made it sound like it was going to be like for people with, you know, who need more assistance, but it was just like they were sending everyone there and they were just rushing me. But this experience was worse in a different way. Okay, first of all, I will say it was so busy. It was so busy, which is just another reason why I definitely prefer early flights. I definitely prefer that, even though I hate waking up early, like I said. But this experience, it was bad. We were already like running a little bit late. I don't know if we got a late shock. Like, I don't know, maybe our flights just were a little closer than they should have been, but we were already like running a little bit late. We didn't have a lot of time. And as soon as I saw everyone in the airport, I knew, like, I needed assistance. Like, there was no way I could do it. Like, I needed help. Like, I needed it. I was wearing my Sunflower landlord. I was wearing it throughout all the flights since I got to New Zealand. It was so crowded, so we were trying to like find someone who worked there, and I think like eventually we did, and this person was like, oh, go with her, and it was, sorry, my camera cut off. So basically we got attention from one of the airplane staff, and they basically were like quickly like, oh, go with this person, and it was this other staff member who was bringing this woman who was in a wheelchair through security. So we were basically just like told to follow along with her, and she would take us through security. Like, I don't even know if I can truly like describe how chaotic it was. Like, just picture like 1 million people. Like, oh my goodness. Like, I know there wasn't 1 million people there, but there was hundreds and hundreds. Oh my goodness, it was so rushed. So the person that, you know, told me to go with this woman that worked there, and then the woman in the wheelchair, she didn't even have time to like ask me like what I need help with. So she was just like, follow me. So we follow her, and I was with my parents. She was like telling people, oh, she's with me, like she's special. That's what she said. I'm like so confident. She was like, she's special. Like, she had no idea why I was with her. So we like follow her, and she's like, you know, cooking through like the lines or whatever, and then we get to these other guys who are working there. That's when they, like, I honestly black out kind of, because I just couldn't believe it, but we kind of also, I feel like, lost that woman. Like, it was like, I can't even describe how like, oh my goodness, it was a mess. They were not organized. Like, that was another thing, they were not organized. But basically these people working there were like, you can't go further, like, you can't go further. And we were like, we are with the airport worker, like, we're with her. And they were like, no, you're not, like, she told you you're not with her. And we were like, no, we're not with the woman in the wheelchair, we're with the worker. And you could just tell they couldn't care less. They didn't believe me. I was wearing this, like, I can't even emphasize how much, like, I was wearing this. They clearly had no idea what this was, what this means. Also, keep in mind, I did not sleep, like, I haven't slept in over 24 hours. I just got off a plane that was 12 hours long. Or maybe it was like 11 hours. I don't know. It was around that length. Like, to deal with this was literally my last experience with security, and they were trying to deny me. I was trying to explain to them, like, I'm wearing this, I have cerebral palsy. They clearly couldn't tell. Like, honestly, I kind of don't know what happened next, because I was in shock. Like, I almost think the woman came back because she was like with the person in the wheelchair. That was her focus, which I completely understand. I just was like blocked with them, because I don't know. I want to say she came back and she was like, oh, they're with me. And then I got past them, but I could just tell that they didn't believe me. They were just not nice. It was just awful to deny me and not believe me that I have disabilities and that I'm with this person. I try to be nice as much as I can, but when you're treated like that, you also haven't slept in so long, and it's clear that they're not educated. It's disappointing, and it was I literally like recorded my face after, and I just couldn't believe it. And after that, I was so nervous, like would they even let me pre-board, knowing what they, you know, treating me like, just trying to go through security. Oh, and keep in mind, even getting past them, it was so beyond stressful with security. So beyond stressful. Just like the Australia one, it was the same line with everyone else. They were rushing me. It was awful. Oh my goodness. It gets so disappointing that this was my last experience. It started off amazing with the Boston one, and then the San Francisco one was a nightmare. Like, it was awful. I did get the pre-board though. I did get the pre-board. Like, I went up to the guest and it was like, I need to pre-board. Like, oh my goodness. So with this Hidden Disabilities Sunflower, it is like one of the things it helps you with is not having to advocate for yourself so much. But in that moment, I felt like I had to advocate for myself like triple the amount of times I should have to, and it was so frustrating. So beyond frustrating, like you have no idea. So that was my awful experience. Well, they tried to deny me. They didn't believe me I had disabilities, but thankfully I got past it. I know it could be a lot worse. So, and overall, like I said, 7 of my experiences at airports, traveling throughout places I did, were amazing, were good experiences. It was really just 2 that were not good. I can't be mad at that. Like, when you go on so many flights, like the chances that some of them may not be great, like there's a good chance that to happen. Another thing I want to mention actually about the San Francisco airport is I guess they changed the way that they do like accessibility, like how they help people who need more help with like airport security. And one of the things I guess we should have done, so I will say it's not 100% on them, is we should have called, because I guess they like changed the way they did it. Anyway, I always like that. Let me try to explain this a little bit better. So we did call, well, my mom, so shout out to her, thank you mom. She called and I was supposed to get assistance at the San Francisco airport, but what happened, I think, it's so confusing to me, but what happened is at some point on our vacation, because we were gone for a month, my mom got another email saying the way that they do the assistance changed. So instead of doing it through the airport, I think they now have like a separate like place, like a third party that they use. So I'm so confused. If you know more, definitely let me know. But I sort of feel like I should have been able to get someone like I got for the Boston airport. Like if you go on the TSA Cares website, like one of the airports is San Francisco. So I'm so confused about that. But basically that's what happened. And then we didn't have the chance to call them again, but we did call them and before we went on our vacation. So yeah. It's so confusing to me though. Which, honestly, I don't know. Just knowing my experience at the Boston airport, it's just like, why can't you do it the way they do it? I don't know. I feel like they're making it harder on the people who need more help. I wish they could do it the way Boston does it, but yeah, I guess not. But that's something I definitely will, you know, make sure I do better with, and getting assistance at the San Francisco airport, especially since I know the people working there are not educated. Just at least from my experience, maybe it was just that gay. Oh my goodness. I also didn't even mention, not only did that happen, but when I went through security, so sometimes you will have to, like, they'll pick random people to do like another security check, which I totally understand, and I know security is so important. Like, I will continue to say that it's so important. I make sure everyone is safe, but I literally got picked. I literally got picked. There was like hundreds and hundreds of people at the airport. I'm not even kidding you. And I got picked. I got picked. And just like, okay, like you could pick anyone. Like anyone. Even my mom or my dad. Like, but you picked me. And I'm also like, I'm wearing the landlord that says I have a hidden disability. Like clearly you're not educated as well. So that was just another thing that happened. I'm just like, why? I just want to make it a little bit more clear that I'm not saying just because I'm disabled, I shouldn't have to do an ECHO security check. I'm just more saying if they want me to or they pick me, I want them to be understanding and know that I am disabled, so I may not be able to do exactly what they want. And they need to be okay with that. And I just knew with what I experienced earlier with them not believing I'm disabled that they were not understanding that day. And I guess it was very stressful. So if they could have picked someone else, I would have like appreciated that just because of just knowing what I went through that day. And there has been, you know, times in the I don't know which airport it was, but there was one time where they wanted me to put my hands over my head, and I did my best to do that, but I just want them to be understanding that I won't be able to do it exactly like you may want that, you know, other people can do because of my cerebral palsy. So I just want them to be understanding, and that day the people working there at this airport were not understanding. So yeah, so what actually ended up happening was I had to advocate for myself again. And it didn't actually take that long. Thankfully, the other experience with the other people took a lot more, but once I did that and said I have cerebral palsy and my parents help as well, they let me go, which was nice of them. One thing I also want to mention is I have heard other people's experiences going throughout like airports, and they have said that even though they don't need like a wheelchair, they will use one when they go to airports. And after that experience at San Francisco, I totally understand why, because they could not tell I have a disability. And I was thinking, like, if I was in a wheelchair, they wouldn't have questioned me. They would have known. Yeah, it's something I am definitely thinking about in the future. Like, if I do experience this more, it may be a good idea. Even though I don't like need a wheelchair, it will help them so then I don't get discriminated. But yeah, that was just a thought I had, especially like watching other people's share their experiences. Anyway, I think that's all I have to say about that experience. I'm trying to forget it because it was just so bad. Yeah, it makes me not want to go to San Francisco airport ever again, but you know, I may have to, so hopefully the next time will be better. Got to stay positive the best I can. But yeah, I thought I would give you some of my advice though, just from my experience traveling on 9 different airplanes. So number 1 is definitely to call in advance. Call all the different airports you'll be going to and see what they have. Get the hidden disability sunflower. Even if you think your disability is visible, like for me, I always have one gut is cerebral palsy. Like can people tell I have cerebral palsy? Because I always like think like yes, because you know it is a physical disability, but that's not necessarily the case. So even if your disability, like you think it is not considered hidden, it very may, you know, could be. And I think, you know, having this, no matter what, since people are ignorant, is better than not. So yeah, see where you can find it. I will definitely link the website in the description box so you can learn more about it, because I know there are so much that I don't even know about this. But yeah, I will say again that this was helpful, and I'm glad I had it. I just wish it was a little more helpful, if that makes sense, just based off some of the bad experiences I had. But there were definitely times where the people working there, like, saw it and, you know, came up to me and, you know, knew that I needed help. There was actually one time where a worker there saw that I had I was wearing this, and he said, oh, you can go into this line instead, and it was a soccer line, which was so nice, and I appreciated that so much. But definitely call in advance. See everything they have to offer to help you. That is definitely what I would recommend. And also go to the accessibility desk, especially if it's busy. If it's busy, definitely go there, because they can help you, they can tell you where to go. And then another thing I would definitely recommend is to go get flights out early, okay? Maybe it's just me, especially if you are like if you like the mornings. Like, I would 100% recommend. If you don't like the mornings, I would so recommend. Like, I get it, I am a night person, I do not like waking up early, okay? But I would fly at like 5 a.m. if I could, because it's not busy, and that is like so important to me. And then people who are working there can see you. Like, it's so much easier when there's so many people. It's so hard. So I would definitely recommend that. And then another thing is just to not stop advocating for yourself. Like, even though it can be hard and it can be frustrating, especially when you're wearing this, which tells you have a hidden disability, you can't expect people to be educated. Sadly, you can't. So keep advocating for yourself. You got this. And I hope I didn't scare you with my, few bad experiences. Remember, I had more good experiences than I had bad. So that's what I try to remember. Like, I try my best, but yeah, I think that's everything I have to say. I feel like I've been talking for a while. Yeah, if I think of anything else, I'll just like add it in throughout this video or something like that. But I hope you enjoy it. If you did, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, turn on post notifications, follow me on all my social medias, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Have an amazing day. Bye.